Hello, welcome in the Queens of Wisdom, day 3. So we have already 12 sacred conversations, and today the day is going to be opened by Liat Shefer Ben Yaakov and talking about the Queens of Wisdom. She is the Queen of Manifestation, and she is actually in an aspect of the three kings, she is actually from there. So they were heading to Bethlehem, they were heading to Israel, led by the light, not knowing where they're going actually, but they were trusting. And this is that part we're going to refer today. So welcome, from the bottom of my heart, Liat, today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm so glad to be here with you today.
Beautiful. So Liat, she's a founder of Masters, the Manifestation Academy, also international speaker, best-selling author, and entrepreneur. And she is a successful podcaster. We've met once in London, and that was immediate click. And I love that connection and that fact that you accepted the invitation to this summit, and you are willing to share your wisdom with women and men, if they, our listeners as well, because what we're creating is absolutely amazing ripple. And I love, and I would like to, have the vision, like, one day someone will say, like, I've seen this summit and I've heard that line, and this is something changed in my life. So we all in the same power of touching people's life. And I love that. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you, Ella.
Mm. So from this introduction, is there anything else you would like to add about yourself?
No, I'm that's at the point that you say, and now everything that I will say would just be so yes, it's accurate, and thank you. And I can only say that I've been doing this for over 20 years now, working with people different ways, different paths, mostly working with them to achieve their dream lives and their goals in many different ways. And manifestation is actually something that I was working on or investigating for myself for many, many years. As I say, that I was a wonderful manifester, manifesting anything I do, everything that I didn't want. So I actually investigated this ability or the possibility that we have any influence over our reality, because I said that if everything or some of the things that I go through has anything to do with me, then I really need to learn how to change that. And I have to admit that I never thought that I would teach other people manifestation. I would just really do this for myself, mostly to stop creating things I don't want. And that actually led me to the Masters of Creation model that I teach today, which is a 12-step model, because I'm very, logic person. I also have a BA in economics and masters in business. And I need things to be really methodologic and just, understanding how it works. And also, I believe that if we do create our reality, and now I know this, but along the way, I said that if we create our reality, there has to be a system. It cannot sometimes work, sometimes not. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it just creates the exact opposite. There has to be some system behind it. And that's kind of what led me to create the model and understand how does the method work.
I love what you say about the way how you started to discover the principles of manifestation to stop. Most people want to get, to gain, to bring to their life and the struggle, and you started from the opposite, to stop getting these things you don't want to. So this is a very interesting approach. And sometimes when I ask my clients or people around, so what you really want, and majority of people, they don't know. And I remember myself being in this place. I want to change, but actually I don't know what. And starting from the other side, like, so what you don't want, it is a big, much easier, I would say, much more accessible step to starting that change. So wonderful.
I would actually even say more than that, since we live in a reality of duality. that's the purpose of what we don't want. It's not a mistake. It's not a hardship that is there just, to spite us. Everything that we don't want is actually the birth of our will of what we do want. So if we look at what we don't want and we look at this not in a way that, okay, I want to avoid this and this is horrible and why am I creating this? Which that's where I started, okay? But today I've learned a little bit along the way. But if I look at what I don't want in my life and I say, okay, that's the birth of what I do want, and that's the birth of the creation that I'm here to create, then I can look lovingly actually at those hardship and say, okay, that's only telling me what I really want and what's really underneath that. So it's a very powerful tool that I also use to help people understand, what they really want. Because as you said, most of people don't know. They know what they don't want and what's bothering them, but they don't really know the essence of their wishes and dreams. And
So yes, this is a very important speech today. If you don't want to do, just come and join us and watch what Liat's gonna share with us, because I know you will tell us the 12 steps today. Yeah?
yeah, sure.
That's all yours. Please do.
So the first thing I would say is that we live in four realms. And again, along the 20 years that I've been doing this work, it took me a while to understand that. Today, it's more of a common, I would say, a knowledge among teachers. But when I started, people mostly talk about, the body and the mind or the emotions and thoughts, but we didn't really look at reality as having four realms that we are working from. And the first one is actually spiritual and energy. The second one is the mental level. The third one is the emotional. And the fourth is the physical. And most of us, we work on the physical level. If we want to achieve something, if we want to change something in our life, we try to do the right things, right? We try to do the action items that will lead us to where we want. If we suffer from health issues, then we try to, take some self-care, going to the doctor, medications, whatever. If we want more money in our business, then, we try to create funnels. We try to go to consultant. We try to put some ads on Facebook and things like that. And we try to do the right things to create change. And so that's mostly the place where most people are working. And that's the level that they work on. And they are aware that they have thoughts. Most of us are aware that we have thoughts. And we kind of dismiss them, we don't really pay. It's just something that is running in my head, 60,000 thoughts a day. And we don't understand the impact of our thoughts on our reality. And we have emotions, which most of us learn how to try to ignore them and try to overcome them. Because if you're too sad and then you're upsetting something, if you're too angry, so you can't really yell at anyone because that's not polite, or if you're too happy, even to just calm down a little bit. Not everybody needs to see you dancing around. So we learn how to contain our emotions and basically try to avoid them. Good and bad. Okay, that's mostly in the Western culture. Emotion is something that is on our way, and since childhood, we try to calm our kids down and no, nothing happened, don't cry and this and that. So we are aware that we have emotions, but it's mostly in our way, and we try to avoid them. And vaguely, we understand that there's something called spiritual or energy or something like that. But most of us don't really understand this, not talking about, knowing how to really work with energy. And being a very good student, I mostly, as most of us, try to make changes in the physical reality. When I try to deal again with health issues, finding a partner, making money in my business, for most years, it was trying to do the right things. And when I realized that I'm doing all the right things, but yet don't really get results, I understood that there's something else has to be there that is influencing this. And so I kind of was working and learning to learn all the other paths, and just actually the last one was the spiritual and energy, and because that was the last one I was ready to, as again, as a logical person, it took me a while to agree to look into this option that there's a spirit and there's energy and we have anything to do with that. So the model, the 12 steps, actually starts with the spiritual and the energetic level. And one of the things, and we'll go through the steps, but one of the things that I teach is that I never do personally, and that's how I teach, but personally, I never take any action before all other levels are aligned. Because I know that if I will take an action when I'm not aligned in my emotions, in my mental, and it's aligned with my soul and with my spirit and with my energy, I will not get results. Or I will get the opposite results, or I will have to work very, very hard to achieve something. And it only will be a friction of what I can create if I am aligned. So I never take action, and no matter if it's, even work, coming here and talking to you, or sending an email, or talking to my kids or my partner, or anything in my life, I wouldn't say anything, okay, but the big things, the important things, the things that I'm involved in and I'm aware of, I don't, or try not to take action if I'm not aligned. Or I would say even more than that, I know that if I will take action and I'm not aligned, I'm expecting for things not to go well because, and I can tell today, well, I wasn't there really. And I wasn't in the right energy, and that's why it didn't work. And that's also very helpful. If you take the action and you understand why it didn't work, that's, part of the solution. So we begin with the energy, then we go to the mental, the emotional, and the last one is the action, the physical level. So at the energy level, I start with the infinite potential. Because, and I say there are several levels in this model that it's not, we don't need to do anything about. Because the infinite potential, the infinite energy, the creator, God, all that is, whatever the universe, okay, you can call it whatever you want, is there. Whether I do something or don't do something, it's there. It's part of our reality. It is our reality. It is who we are, and we are part of it, and it's part of who we are. And so we start there because we understand that that's where the energy is coming from. And that's very helpful. We both of us know the model of, to me, by me, through me, and as me, being a victim, trying to do everything by myself, or trying to create some manifesting, or just understanding that the world is me. And when every time we go to the model and we want to create something, and we look and we remember, okay, I'm not working here alone. Okay. And I don't really I don't call it co-creation, because in my mind, we are one with the creator. It's not, that we do something and the creator or God or the universe does something. It's combined. It's just who we are. Okay. It's who we are in a different level, in a different consciousness, but that's who we are. So we understand that that's not my personality and, just my humanness that is trying to create this. I'm part of the creation. I'm part of all that is. So anytime I want to create something, I remember that I connect to the infinite potential. And that's where the energy is coming from. That's where the intuition is coming from. That's where the ideas, the creativity, everything is coming from there. So just connecting to there, when you want to change something in your life, just understanding, remembering that you are part of this and recalling this energy, magic can happen. And one of the things that I say about the 12-step model is that even working on one level of this model can be life-changing. Because, when I built this is because, I learned so much and I learned so many modalities and theories, and I just combined everything together into a model that made sense to me. And now, that I've been teaching it so many years, I know that it doesn't make sense only to me but to so many others, is that I saw that all those pieces of puzzles that I was, learning actually came together to something big. But every piece of the puzzle is a universe in itself. So just understanding that there's an infinite energy is life changing. And from that infinite energy, which is, stage one, we go into what I call destiny or the soul imprint. And that's actually, what I came to do here in this lifetime. And that changes, every time that we incarnate, we come into this world, we have a different soul imprint. Okay. That's what my soul came here to do. It's it's not the personality of who I am, but the personality of my soul. Okay. It goes to a wider understanding of what my soul is here to do. And why it is so important is because most people, when they try to manifest, they go into the will. Okay, what do you want? Okay, what do you want? Let's create this. Create a vision board. Let's have mantras and imagine it, feel it, and it will happen. But the thing is that sometimes we want things that it's not part of our soul imprint. It is part of, what society told us, what we think we need to want, and things like that. So if we don't understand, what is my unique imprint, then I may try and achieve all kinds of things that is really not in my highest good. So before we even go into what do you want, the free will, although we can want things that is not aligned with our soul, it's important to say that, okay? Most of us, that's what we try to achieve most of our lives, right? We try to achieve all kinds of things. It's not necessarily, what our soul came here to do. And we can achieve it nonetheless. But it won't create the happiness and the joy and the abundance and health and everything that we really want. So it may be the house or the partner or the car that we want, but we will feel empty. That's the reason that we feel empty, because it was not aligned with our real, will and our real creation here in this world. So we go to this and we understand what our soul imprint is. And after that, we go into something that I call it vibration, which is our core values. And again, that's all before we go into what do you want? Because again, most people want things that is not aligned with their core values. Not saying that most people don't even know what their core values are, right? Because who stops to think of, what is really important to me in life? What do I want to, what's the legacy I want to leave here? How do I want to live my life? Is it love? Is it abundance? Is it freedom? Is it, so, so it's really important before we go into what we want, to understand our core values. And that's the vibration, the unique vibration of our soul. Because, for example, maybe both of us want to create more impact, okay? And most of us, want to make our businesses grow. But I want to do this for freedom, okay? Because freedom is one of my core values. But you want to do this because of family value, okay? Because you want to give your kids more. And it doesn't mean that I don't want to give my kids more, but that's not why I went to become, an entrepreneur. And if I don't understand that, okay, that I'm here, creating my business and freedom is my core value, I may create a business that actually takes away my freedom, right? And that's why it wouldn't work, because it's not in my highest good. It's not aligned with my core values, okay? So before, again, we go into what do you want, we ask ourselves what our core values are. And we usually have between 5 and 6 core values. That is kind of the North Star, or the, the GPS that helps us understand whether or not we're going to the right place or not. There's a question here: how do we know what dream comes from programming and which comes from the soul's path? That's a great question. And sometimes it's, trial and error. And we just have to learn more and more whether it does really, create joy and really what we want. And when we understand our soul imprint, and that's why we do this level before, and our core values, it's much easier to answer this question, okay? If I know my core values and I know my soul imprint, then I can look at something and say, that's not really coming from my higher self. It's not really coming from, my soul path. It's programming. It's not really create happiness. And the other way is the consequences if I create something or I think of it and it doesn't make me feel as happy and joyful, that's not the right thing for me. And one of the things that I can say about the soul is that its path is always the joyful path. Okay. And it doesn't mean that there's no suffering. We all know there is. But I call it the hot and cold game. I don't know if you know, it's when we're kids, there was a game that you hide something and the other people were looking for it. And then you would say you're getting hotter and hotter and hotter as you're getting close to it. And when you're getting colder and colder, when you get, away from it until people, the kids would find it. And so that's the game of the soul. How do you know that you're getting hotter and hotter and closer to your soul path? It's because, you feel joyful, you feel happy, you feel healthy, you feel energy. That's the energy that the soul is having for us. So that's another way to know, does it really make me happy? Does it really create joy? And again, going to how we all brought up is that, joy was never a thing for us to make decisions from, right? You have to go to school not because it's joyful, and you have to get the right degree, not because it's joyful, but because it's practical and because it's going to make you money. So it's a whole complete, a different point of view and different way to look at things, understanding that, joy is actually something to look for. And it's actually the messages from the soul that we are right or not on the right path. So going back to the model, okay, once we understand our core values, and this is all in the energy soul level, okay, it's all about energy and vibration. We go into the middle section, which is actually starting to take this energy into our mental, into our consciousness, which is our free will, okay? And I do believe we have free will. That's what we came here to do, to choose, to make choices, what we want, what we don't want. And it's okay, to choose things and understand that's not really what I want and change that. And as we talked before that sometimes what we don't want is exactly the sign to tell us, okay, look the other way, what is the opposite of this and what you do want out of what you don't want. So this where the free will comes, and then we ask ourselves, well, what do we really want, and why do I want this, and is it aligned with my core values, with my path, and understanding that everything is possible, from the creation, so I can create everything that I want. So that's the free will. That's the next level. And after that, there's intention. Okay, that's actually, that's where the vision board can come in. That's the guided imagery can come in, that you actually set the intention, set the picture, set the understanding of what you really want. Okay, and then again, you can fine tune it as you go forth, and obviously it changes all the time. Okay, it's a dynamic program, because we achieve what we want and then it changes, or we go toward it and then we understand that's not really what I want, and it's an ongoing process. So that's the intention. And after that comes the attention and the focus. One of the sentences that I love, it's actually written on my phone, is where your focus goes, energy flows. Okay, that's where do you focus? Okay, and one of the things that we need to understand as we become creative and conscious manifestors is that everything is already there. Okay, that's the quantum field, and everything is already there. And more than that, everything that we want is already created, is already in our life in some form or another. Okay, if I want freedom, okay, and for me, freedom is having a $10 million business a year. That's nice, maybe not. But freedom is also, sitting in my garden with a cup of coffee and having 30 minutes for myself. And freedom for me is also, having a day off and going to the beach. And there are all very different ways of how freedom can be in my life. And so what I try to look for, okay, where my focus goes, is where is this thing that I want, or more accurate, the essence of what I wanted. That's why I need to understand my core values and my why, is if I'm looking for it in my life. Because this is the, what we call the law of attraction or the law of vibration, is that we can only create, we can only feel, we can only live the level of vibration that we currently hold. We do not create reality from our future us, who I will be when I will have that. I only create reality from who I am at this moment. And if freedom is something that I will have down the road, and I don't have freedom in right now, I will never get to this place because I will never be a vibrational match of freedom because I need to get there to feel freedom, but I'm here. Okay, but there are many different ways of many different aspects of freedom currently in my life. And this is what I need to look for. Where am I focusing? And most of us, let's be honest, where do we focus? At what we don't want. Okay, at what we don't like. And then I'm looking at what I don't like, becoming a vibrational match of what I don't like. And I don't understand why it keeps recreating in my life, why everything is the same vibration. And that's exactly why. So we need to learn how to refocus our attention. After that, there comes gratitude. And again, as I said, you can take even one level of this model and it will be life-changing. And gratitude is one of the levels for me that is life-changing. If you only take one thing from our meeting today, from this conversation, just take, gratitude. Because gratitude is a way to actually create several things. The first thing is become a vibrational match, of something good, something that is actually already in your life. And the other thing, it helps you to refocus your energy and your attention on what you do want. Because you look at your life and you say, okay, I'm grateful for what I have. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. And then I realize there's so many things, so much abundance, health, freedom, whatever I want already in my life. And that's, again, becoming the vibrational match of that I want to create. So gratitude is definitely a huge change, and I totally agree. Thank you for that. Gratitude is really a life-changing tool. There are times in my life that I used to say to myself, waking up or before going to sleep, and for many years now, I'm writing actually what I'm grateful for every morning. And it doesn't matter in what vibration I wake up, but when I sit down and I start writing the things that I'm grateful for, it always changes my vibration. Always, it doesn't matter. You know what? I'll deal with everything, but there's so many things, that I'm grateful for. So, yeah, I totally agree. It's a life-changing. Do you want to add something about this?
Yes, I fully agree. And then I absolutely understand, the importance of the other steps as we, in the same kind of, way of work. But sometimes especially the first three might be hard to implement in the first place, but gratitude is actually super easy. And I remember over years when I've started to work with gratitude, that was really life-changing. And it's with me for years. And whatever comes from that angle, as you're saying, when we work on one aspect, the others are changing as well. So then comes the understanding of the others, and it's huge. So I'm a massive fan. On Polish channel, they keep calling me, the queen of gratitude. So it is, yes. Carry on.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. It's such a good,
Thank you. Thank you. And that's, you can write in the morning or in the evening what you're grateful for, and just look at the world from a grateful point of view. Um, just looking for things that you're grateful for is definitely life-changing. I totally agree. So that was in the mental level, we're going back to the model, and the gratitude is actually, again, the level that connects between mental and emotional. Again, and that's why it's so powerful, because, I'm thinking what I'm grateful for and then I'm feeling it. Okay, one of the things that we talk about a lot in manifesting is that you don't just need to think about it, you need to feel it. And gratitude is obviously, a strong feeling that connects us to our heart, to what we're grateful for, and what we love in our life, and that's a very powerful tool because it connects, the thought and the emotion. And after that comes, our it's beliefs, but it's not belief in the mental level. It's who do I believe that I am? Okay, it's what do I believe that is possible for me? What do I believe about the world? Okay, it's not mental as much as, again, like the gratitude is the connection, because we have many thoughts. We said we have over 60,000 thoughts a day, but what we strongly believe in is more about emotions, actually, than it is about just a mental thought, because it's who we think we are and what we think about the world. And we need to understand, where our beliefs are, because we can, again, do all of this. And even gratitude. I saw so many people, they practice gratitude daily, but they don't believe that they can, create what they want. They don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that they are worthy of having what they want. That's a big thing, by the way, feeling worthy of, what they want. And so if, in their the mental emotional system of not believing that it's possible for me, or not believing that I'm worthy of this, I won't be able to attract this. Again, I wouldn't be a vibrational match for that. And so this is another level that we learn and understand what's in it. The next level is expectation, is an anticipation. Okay, and it's different. Okay, because we have certain expectations of life, and then we get uh, maybe depressed that it doesn't happen how I want it to happen, or then we feel frustrated because I'm doing all the work, but I don't, it's not there. I don't create this. I can't manifest what I want. So we can have expectations that are actually taking energy from us, because then we are depressed, or we feel that we were let down because it didn't happen. And anticipation is a positive expectation. Okay. And anticipation is the metaphor that I give is that when you order something that you want online and you're really, really excited about this, we had Christmas lately, and people were, buying gifts and all of that. And so you set the order, you send it, and you are all excited because maybe in the holidays now it will take longer, and it doesn't matter, but it's on its way, right? You have a positive anticipation, and you expect the package to come and that you'll get what you ordered. So for me, anticipation is like that. We send our order to the universe, we do our thing, and we anticipate the best. And one of the things here, and that is also connected to the next level, which is letting go and allowance, is that we anticipate obviously what we ordered, or more than that, or better than that, or what comes to me in a higher level. Because one of the things that we need to understand, and you said it was very right, that it's hard to do the first level, understand. And Avi asked here, how do I want it? Do I know if it comes, what I want comes from the programming, or from really the soul path, or I don't really necessarily know if this is the way for me to really create the core values that I felt that are the right ones for me. So I understand that the universe is always on my side. It's a friendly universe. I'm part of it. So and we are all part of it. Let's make it clear. Okay, we are all part of it, and it's always working for us. And if we set an order for something that is not in our best, then it won't come, or it would come in a different package. Okay, it actually happens, sometimes online. You say, well, it's, we out of it, or we have something better. Do you want to exchange that? So that can also happen when we send an order online. So we anticipate the best result for us, and we do not get too obsessed about how it should look like. And that's why the next level is letting go and allowing. And I always say that this is one of the hardest levels of the model, because it's kind of paradox. I was talking about how we align ourselves, completely to what we want, and we understand what we want and what our soul wants and what our core values are. And, we do all this charade and then you're telling us to let go. But I'm so, and I'm anticipating and I'm expecting and all of this, and now letting go. And letting go is really taking the attachment out of the system, because the problem with attachment is that when we get too attached to the results or the way we think it should look like, comes another strong emotion, which is fear. That it may not come, that it may not be the right thing, that I may not enjoy it as much as I think I will, and all of this. Or maybe, I want relationship and I am afraid of having relationship. And so what happens is that when we get too attached to the results, fear becomes the dominant emotion. And so letting go and allowing is really, really important as we manifest. We set the intention, we do all of that. And then, since, going back to the universe and the infinite potential and knowing that everything is for my highest good, I'm doing my part, and I'm giving it to the universe and to the energy and to my soul to do the right thing for me. And going back to gratitude is also understanding that everything that is coming my way is of my highest good, is of my highest intention. And even if I look at it at the moment and it looks like, a disaster, and sometimes it is, sometimes it is, but when we learn how to look at things, we understand, and especially looking backward, how many disasters and things that were not going well were actually taking us to the right path. Because one of the things that we really, really need to understand is our soul is always working to get us closer to the field or the vibration of what we came here to do. So if we're trying to aim to the wrong place, it will take us to the different one. And that might be, a hardship or a struggle or something that doesn't work. And after that, there's this inspired action. Now we get to the level that we actually do things and see how many things we did before. As I told you before, that I don't do anything before I'm aligned, and it can be seconds. Okay, it doesn't mean that I need to do the 12 steps every day, and each one is like an hour long. Obviously, we won't be able to do anything. It can be just a few seconds, and I would say more than that. Most of us, for the things that are not the issues, so-called, in our life, we do it all the time. We do it all the time. We are all creators. One of the things that I teach, we are all creators. We cannot not be manifestors. The only thing is whether or not we do it consciously and whether or not we create what we want or what we don't want. That's the only question. It's not, am I a creator? Am I a manifestor? It's not a question. You don't have any other options. That's who you are. That's who we are. Okay, so that's where the inspired action come. And inspired is really important to remember, that it's not just taking the action or doing the massive action as we were taught in the 90s and the beginning of the 21st century, that, massive actions, massive results, you need to do so much. And if you do enough, you'll get the results. Most of us, I think, we're there doing a lot, killing ourselves and not getting much results. So inspired action is really, really important. The path of least resistance, the minimal effort. So it's not doing, but it's doing the right thing from the right mindset. And then the last level, which again is not in our hands again, is when it actually manifests. And that's when, when we are aligned, things are manifesting as we want them to be. But again, I would say we go through all those levels all the time, consciously or not. And everything, and that's again, the building blocks of manifesting. Look at your surrounding. If you don't know where you are at this, at this model, at this creation, look at your surrounding. Look at your relationship, at your money, your health, your inner happiness, all of that. These are all the reflections of your vibration. If you are satisfied, happy with them, perfect. It means that you are aligned to what's making you feel good. If you're not happy with them, first start looking for things that you are grateful for. Okay, but it also only means that you have some work there to do to realign yourself to what you do want, because reality is merely a reflection of our inner self, and that's what we came here to do. That's the creation here is look outside, see, look, whether you like it or not, go back in, change your vibration, and the reflection will change.
I absolutely love it, Leah, how you put it in a structure for all of those logical, because I remember saying this mantra, I'm a logical person. I cannot do this that way. And I was like, and then I remember that shifts of going into the spirituality consciously. And it was always that voice, but I don't understand. So the inner voice wanted to understand everything. Like we understand, I've understood maths, chemistry, physics. So I want to understand this. And that was always the issue until, it's changed. So it's brilliant, for all of logical people. I love it. And I've got a question about your book as well, because you've got your book. I don't know if it's in English available as
It
well.
is. Mm-hmm.
It
It's
is.
called Lose the Diet, Lose the Weight, and it became a bestseller in Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you say a little bit more about that book? Because I know there's your personal journey through it as well.
Yes, yes. Um, but the first place I would say that I actually practiced this without knowing was in my weight and my eating disorders, which I had since my teens. I was struggling with weight. At the beginning, I have to admit it was mostly, in my mind, not in my body so much. But I was never, the skinny girls. I was more flashy, I would say. Um, but I wasn't fat at this point, but I saw myself as fat, which, led me to eating disorders and obviously dieting since I was 13, I think. Consciously, and I was dealing with body image. I remember myself even at 7 and 8 because I was dancing ballet and I was never, again, the skinny dancers, and that was influencing me. And so what happened at some point is around the age of 20, I actually had a car accident, which created back issues. And with the shots that I got and the medications, I gained over 50 pounds, 30 kilos. It's more than 50 pounds, 30 kilos. It's about 70 pounds, actually. Just from, the physical treatment and the emotional state that I was in. And that was, it was wrecking because for someone who already has eating disorders and already has body image, gaining so much weight, regardless of what I eat, regardless of what I do, is devastating. And what I knew, again, massive actions, right? With the pain, I tried to do what I could as far as exercise. I was almost not eating at all. And I was bulimic at some point, using all kinds of things. I don't want to elaborate, not to give anyone ideas. And it didn't work. And it didn't work. I tried to do everything that I know, and I could not lose, a pound, a kilo, whatever. So what happened at this point, I was actually leaving, the economic and the master business because of my back pain, and actually realizing that my body can heal itself. And, I actually found the alternative world as I was looking to find solutions for my back pain. And then I started to learning the holistic psychotherapy, which is what I did the first years, helping people heal themselves and being a holistic practitioner. And I realized the damage that I create to my body and my soul and my mind and, my emotions with this bulimia, with this body image. And I did not have a partner at this time. My boyfriend left me not a long time after the accident because of, everything that was going on. And I felt terrible, really. And I was looking at this at some point and I said, it doesn't work. I do everything that I know. I use all I cannot eat less. I cannot exercise more. And it just, it doesn't move. And I said, okay. And it took me a while, obviously. And I said, well, if that doesn't work, then it means that I'm gonna look like this forever. And mostly I would look worse because, you know, as we age, everything gets worse. So I said, this is the best I'm gonna look, and it's down the hill from here. And I said, okay, so if I'm fat anyway, and nothing really works anyway, then I have two options. I can keep, you know, this fight, or I can try to learn to love who I am. And if no one would love me and I wouldn't find a partner, then I would have to be the best partner for myself. And so I stopped the dieting. I started eating things that I didn't eat since I was, I think, you know, 12 years old. And I was 24 at the time, 23, 24. And, you know, I was sure that I will gain weight. You know, I'm eating things, I'm not counting calories. And the magic was that at some point I started losing weight. Although I stopped doing anything, I was eating more than ever. But, you know, I looked at my closet and I realized I only have black and dark blue because it makes you thin, right? So that was the only thing I had in my closet. And I said, no, I'm not gonna keep, you know, wearing this. I went and bought all the colors of the rainbows, and I changed, you know, how I dressed, and working on myself to, you know, just love and accept who I am, and accepting that I'm going to be alone, and I'm going to be fat, and I'm going to love it because I just don't have any other option. I tried everything I know. And I started losing weight. And what's more interesting is that not just I lost weight, my body contour changed. People told me, what are you doing? It's not just that, you know, you're losing weight. It's like you're a whole different person. And it's true because, you know, I let go of the baggage and the emotional baggage that I was carrying. And I lost those 30 kilos, or 80, 70, 80 pounds. And I never gained them back. I have 3 kids. It's been over 20 years now. And I don't diet anymore. So the book is actually about the building blocks. Again, it goes through the mental, the emotional, you know, everything that I've been through, how our you know, how we were brought up, how it influences what we eat, how it influences our self-image, and my journey there with a lot of tools that I used along the way that helped me change that. And really, I think for me, the best, like the greatest thing is I never thought that food and body image will become a non-issue. I thought that, you know, I will have to fight this, or I will have to be conscious about it for the rest of my life. But I could not even imagine a case that it would be a non-issue. And it became a non-issue. I don't really, it's sometimes I look at this and I can't really relate to this person that I was. I don't understand how people are counting calories, thinking about what they eat. It just sounds so weird. And, you know, like a thin person would think. And I never thought that it's possible for me because, you know, as long as I knew myself, I was a fat person with a fat head, with all the things that they tell you that you have a fat head and like an addict, and you'll always be an addict and you'll always have to avoid that. And it's not true. You know, it's not true. I was an addict because there were reasons for that, emotional reasons, mental reasons, all kinds of things, but it was not who I am. You know, I don't believe that, you know, anyone who's addict is who they are. It's who they became. And when you change that, it changes. And for me, that's the biggest gift when I give people, you know, when they go through the process and they tell me it's a non-issue for me anymore. And that's for me, you know, it's much more than the weight. It's much more than everything. It's just letting go
this
of
is
it.
beautiful. And you are beautiful, as Evie put down. I absolutely agree with that. And, you know, your personality and your physicality, I've seen you in real life, so I know absolutely. And this is such a big hope, I would say, for women. And then we are on the beginning of the year where people making, you know, their decisions, how they're gonna, you know, look after this and this years. And then, yeah, it's a really good point to start with that. And also, the next speaker is Kara San. She is my personal yoga teacher, and she knows the body. She's a masseur as well, and she knows the work with breath, but specifically from the physicality. So we're having brilliant, look to the next chapter. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
I'm absolutely honored and, love what you share with us. I love you too. Thank you, Liat.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you for this beautiful event. Thank you.